It is Thursday, October 3rd, and I am back in the Bay Area. I've been back since Tuesday, just about 48 hours, and I am adjusting to being back home. It's been really great to be home. I have really missed just the comforts of my own space and being in the Bay where it's 65 degrees. It's just been really wonderful being back. Today's vlog is going to be a life update. So for those of you who enjoy the more active vlogs where I'm out and about and getting to know a city, that's not gonna happen today. So if that's not your jam, then you might wanna pass on this video. But for those of you who are interested in what's going on in my life, this vlog is for you. I thought I'd go through a list of questions that I wrote for myself to answer. That'll help me verbally process where I'm at and let you in on where I'm at right now. So without further ado, here's my list. So I just got back from New Orleans, a month in New Orleans. I was there September 4th through October 1st. And my first question on my list is, what were my hopes going to New Orleans? Well, my hope going there was that I would have a lot of film and television auditions. I had heard that there was a lot of work in New Orleans, so I thought that by going to a smaller market like New Orleans rather than going directly to Los Angeles, I thought I'd have a better chance of being seen by casting directors and getting into auditions. I had already signed with an agent back in June when I was in New Orleans for a week, and that was to prepare myself for the month in September of being in New Orleans. So I thought by having an agent lined up, I would just hit the ground running in September and start getting auditions right away. That's a little naive and wishful thinking. As most people will tell you, you should really commit to a market for probably a year to 2 years. It really takes some time to build traction for people to get to know your face through just submissions and seeing your headshot come in, to seeing you in the room and auditioning. And when they see you handling material well, they're like, oh yeah, we should bring her in again. So that just takes time to build up those relationships and to build up that reputation. And to try and do that in a month is ridiculous. So I knew that going into it, but of course I was hopeful that I would see a lot of activity. And I didn't. And well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, hopes for New Orleans. My hope was to get a lot of film and television auditions. Knowing that I don't have control over those things, I also had hopes that were not contingent on things that are outside of my control. So the hopes I also had were to get to know New Orleans as a city, to get to know people, to build community, build friendships that would hopefully make going to New Orleans not feel like going to an unknown city. It would make it feel like when I go back to New Orleans, I am going to a place where I know people and I have community. So those were my hopes going into New Orleans. Hopes for New Orleans, check. Fears, my fears leading up to New Orleans. So my biggest fear was that nothing would happen, that I'd show up and I'd just be sitting idle and that I would be wasting time and money. That was my biggest fear. The other fear was actually safety. When I was there in June and I was by myself, I'd meet people and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're a single woman here by yourself. Be really careful. And I heard story after story of things that have happened in New Orleans that are dangerous. So I definitely was nervous going back to New Orleans, having a more realistic sense of what life is like there, that it's not just this Disneyland picture of the French Quarter and everyone smiling and dancing. It can be a rough town. So that made me nervous going back. Let's not end on that note. What am I proud about? I am really proud about myself for churning out 9 videos while I was in New Orleans. So the whole reason why I set out to do vlogs was because I feared that I wouldn't have a single audition while I was out there, which came to pass. And I was like, what am I gonna do with myself if I'm just twiddling around? What am I gonna do with myself if I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs? I will go crazy. So I knew I needed to have a strategy of preparing for the worst. The worst being having nothing to do. So it just so happened that right before I went to New Orleans, I got really invested in the vlogs of Jay Swanson. He's an American who's living in Paris, and he was doing daily vlogs for 3 years straight. I don't even know how you pull that off. That's mind-blowing to me, because doing videos twice a week is already challenging enough. To do it daily and to also live a functional life and do other things outside of your vlog, it just blows my mind. And I know that's in the vein of Casey Neistat and some other daily vloggers. They just blow my mind, and I'm so inspired by them. So I was inspired by Jay Swanson in Paris, and I was watching a lot of his vlogs because I was missing Paris. And then I thought, wait a second, I should vlog while I'm in New Orleans because that'll keep my mind active. I've been wanting to get better at making videos. This will be perfect. It'll be a dedicated time for me to really focus on making videos, putting myself on camera. If I want to be on camera, I shouldn't wait for other people to put me on camera. I should do it myself. So I'll put myself on camera, I'll learn how to do videos, and maybe it'll become something that I enjoy doing. And let's just try it out. So I really got myself set up right before leaving for New Orleans. I did a bunch of research. I was binging on YouTube videos of YouTubers who were telling you how they got their vlogs started and how they do their videos and how they do their branding and how they do the metadata and all the different stuff. I was watching nonstop YouTube videos on how to do these things for probably about a week. And then right before I left for New Orleans, I did my first video. I didn't tell anyone about it. I did tell one person. I told my friend Eileen, and she's always super supportive of me. Thank you, Eileen, for your support. But I didn't really tell anyone. And then when I did the second vlog, which was the one that I went out to New Orleans, that's when I finally told people that I was doing it. And then it really became my lifeline. I think I would have gone insane in New Orleans if I wasn't vlogging. I knew that going into New Orleans. I knew that if I didn't have something to keep my mind and my creativity engaged, I would go insane, and the vlogs kept me sane. So I'm so grateful and so proud of myself for doing it and for following through. It's been, I don't want to say life-changing because that's super melodramatic and it's only been a month, but it really has had a huge impact on me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Okay, let's see where we're at. So what am I proud? That's what I'm most proud about. I'm also proud of myself for getting out and meeting people and building community and really trying to figure out New Orleans. I didn't know anyone there when I went there in June, and it really felt familiar to me by the time I left, and I'm really pleased with that. Okay, disappointments. Well, the obvious disappointment is that I didn't get a single audition while I was there, and the first few hours of being back, people would ask me how it was, and it was hard to speak to because I felt a mixture of real disappointment that nothing happened, like literally nothing. Okay, one thing happened. I got called in for an extra role to be a Panamanian bikini girl. Yeah, I didn't go to New Orleans to be bikini girl number 2. Thank you very much. So that was a hard pass. And so because nothing happened, I felt, I felt like a failure. And the thing is that I gave myself permission to fail, and I really wanted to go out there because I didn't want to have a regret later that I didn't try. And so I'm really proud of myself for going, because if I hadn't gone, I would have always wondered what if. But because I went and tried, I was like, okay, I'm making myself available. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If it's not, it's not. And when it didn't, it felt like such a disappointment. I honestly don't see it as a failure, not because I'm like trying to make it all rosy, but really what I got out of going to New Orleans was my own agency. I don't think I would have started a vlog had I not done this trip to New Orleans. I would have never created that kind of space and time for myself to figure out how to make videos and how to commit to doing it regularly, multiple times per week. I would have never done that. In doing those vlogs, in being in a space where I had nothing else available to me, no other distractions. I mean, of course, New Orleans, there's a lot of things going on, but like I had no other, like I didn't have a car that I could just jump in and drive to the store multiple times per week to get groceries that I don't really need because it's a way to fill the time. Like I had to hunker down and figure out how I was gonna spend my days and make it worthwhile. And I don't think I would have done a vlog had I not been in New Orleans. And doing it gave me a sense of agency, a sense of empowerment, and made me realize that I don't have to wait for anyone to put me on camera. I can do it myself. And there's a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction in that. That was a gift unto myself, and I am thrilled about that. Where are we on the list? Okay, disappointments. So I keep trying to skirt around the disappointments because I don't like sitting in it. I was disappointed that I didn't get any auditions while I was there. I did connect with a couple casting directors and to meet my agent, Brenda. That was lovely. I'm really glad that she got to know me and that I got to know her and that we were able to connect. All of those things were valuable, but yeah, I was disappointed that I didn't get a single audition. Here's the irony. The day after I get home from New Orleans, I get an audition in New Orleans. Thankfully, I was able to put it on tape, which is why I'm dressed the way I am with the dangly earrings, because I was a party goer. I got that audition yesterday at 4 p.m. Up until 2 p.m. yesterday, I was like, oh well, I guess acting's not gonna work out, and I guess I'll just figure out some other plan for my life. And then all of a sudden, after 2 p.m. yesterday, I got 3 auditions. 2 here and 1 in New Orleans. I mean, this stuff it's crazy making. It's crazy making. If I would have recorded this yesterday, which I was planning on doing, I think I would have been crying halfway through this thing. But now I'm like, okay, that New Orleans trip was worthwhile because I went out there, built community. I have friends who offered me a room in their home to stay when I'm in town. How amazing is that? Thank you so much to Judy and Eddie for that offer. And that was the intent of going out this trip, was to build a foundation for future trips. So if I were to book this film, it's a one-liner, so a one-day shoot. So if I booked it, I'd fly out to New Orleans for a day and fly back. But now I have a room where I can stay when I'm in New Orleans. And that is precisely why I went out this trip, was to start to lay those foundations. The disappointments that I had in my suitcase coming home are actually disintegrating because things are changing. It's a crazy business. Anyway, so those are my disappointments. Done. Okay, next, learnings. I have learnings for my whole past 6 months. 6 months? Since May. 5 months. My learnings from the past 5 months of travel, because I've traveled a lot in the past 5 months. I went to New York, Germany, Zurich, London, Paris, New Orleans, back to the Bay, then back to New Orleans. So that was over the past 5 months. And I think one of my biggest takeaways from all of that travel was that I am definitely a city girl. I like a cosmopolitan life. I love New York and London and Paris. Those are cities that I could see myself living in. I'm also a California girl. So God willing, I would love to have a residence here in California, which I have. I'm so thankful for this. And I would love to have a residence in one of those other cities. I think ideally Paris would be my top choice. So those are big dreams for the future, and I'll need to make a dream board a la Jay Swanson. If you ever watch his videos, he has like a goals and dreams board behind him, and I think that's really smart to have it written down. So I think that I need to do some kind of concrete goals, dreams, so I can like visualize what I want. But that is something I love, and that's something that I've learned from all my travels, is that I really love a big bustling city. I love being a flaneur. I like the idea of walking the streets, and not like a street walker. Come on. I like the idea of walking the streets and seeing the shops and enjoying the architecture and the beauty of cities and walking along a river, and I just love it. And I think I've learned from this trip that cities like New Orleans are a little small for me. Even the Bay is not as bustling as I would like a city to be, but it is California, it's close to my family, and it's that California vibe and the weather. I love that, but I am my best self and I really come alive in a city, in a New York or a London or a Paris. I haven't been to that many major cities around the world. I'd love to check out others, but those cities really speak to me, and I'd love to live at least part-time California and part-time in one of those cities. So that was a big learning from this trip. What else? I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's keep moving. Things I want to work on, and I think these are gonna be specifically about the vlog. I would love to be a better storyteller, so I wanna get better at having story structure throughout my videos, first, second, and third act, and being able to tell a succinct story, so learning the right length. I've been landing anywhere between 8 and 12 minutes, which feels about right, but I want to tell a story with a beginning, middle, and end and really make it feel cohesive. And 2, I want to get better at vlogging in public. It is super awkward, super awkward. It's been great in some ways. People come up to me afterward and introduce themselves and just are so lovely. Other times people are rolling their eyes at me, but I need to just not care. I need to grow a really thick skin and just, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Shameless. I need to be shameless. Yeah, so I'm working on that, but I want to get better at vlogging in public. Okay, that's done. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is going forward, next steps. What do I want to do going forward? Whether that's with the vlog or with my life, big questions. Okay, going forward, what I would like to do with the vlog is, I'm not sure. There's no answer there. I think that I really enjoyed exploring a city. And to be honest, I haven't really explored San Francisco all that much. I've been here for coming up on, I think, 4 years. And I haven't really explored. So maybe I'll do vlogs exploring different places here, museums, and I haven't been to the Oakland Zoo or different parks. So that's something I could do. And also the cadence. I need to figure out the cadence. I'm thinking a weekly video makes sense for me. I think so. And I'd like to get to a point where I'm releasing it on a certain day and time that's very predictable. So I'm working on that. I will get back to you on that. And then, yeah, I'm gonna stay present with the acting stuff. Whenever I focus on acting, it gets me really depressed because you're just waiting for people to say yes and to like you and it's crazy making. And so while I'm back in the Bay, I really wanna focus on my photography. I have an Airbnb experience called, what do I call it? I call it the Golden Gate Photo Shoot and Nature Walk. It's a photo shoot plus walking through nature. I really love doing it. I've been doing it since July. If you go to Airbnb Experiences in San Francisco, you can find it. Please book it. I would love to take your photo. So I have that going on here in San Francisco. And I'm in talks with another company about shooting for them as a photographer. So that's a thing. So those are things I want to focus on is my photography. I want to focus on making more vlogs and figuring out what the next iteration of this post New Orleans looks like. And yes, and then I'm also thinking of doing a travel guide. So I think I'm gonna start with New Orleans. I'm gonna make a PDF travel guide of my favorite things in New Orleans and somehow figure out, I think there's ways that you can do like a downloadable PDF and you purchase it through an app or a website. I don't know if I need to put it on my website. I don't know. I need to figure out the logistics. But basically the idea is that I want to do a travel guide and I want to price it at $5. It's not going to be super comprehensive. It's going to be specific to my interests and my taste. But I do think it's going to be of value to people who like similar things to me and would want something that's easy to digest. I'm still figuring it out, but the idea is that it's a travel guide of my ideas that's going to be priced somewhere that is not a big deal. Like it's $5. Okay, sure. I'd love her suggestions. I see the value of this guide and the work that went into it, but it's also not so expensive that it's like, well, I might as well just buy a comprehensive guidebook. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm still working out in my brain. This is me verbally processing it. I hope it makes sense. I hope it sounds good. Give me a thumbs up or leave a comment or let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. So those are my thoughts for going forward. This has been a very lengthy therapy-like vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've gotten this far, you must have found it either entertaining or a train wreck or something. But to those of you who are still sticking around, you are true fans. You are probably my mother and father. Hi. So I'm gonna wrap it up here, but very, very soon I'm hoping to have another exploratory vlog where I'm exploring something here in the Bay. Stay tuned. In the meantime, give a like for this video or find another video in my feed that you like and like that. Subscribe to the videos and I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out for my New Orleans trip. I'm looking forward to what's to come here in the Bay and beyond, and I'm excited to continue these vlogs because they keep me afloat, just mentally, creatively. They keep filling my tank with joy. That's so cheesy. They keep filling my tank with motivation. That feels a little less cheesy and a little bit more accurate. I really enjoy making these videos, and I'll see you soon.